Hallelujah, amigos. It's time for the show with no name on Vaughn Radio, and let's get ready for liftoff, baby.
8,
Here
7,
we go.
6, 5, 4,
3, come on.
2, 1.
Almost there.
0. Ignition.
All right.
Liftoff. Liftoff. 30.
Oh, wait, wrong effect. Just making sure you were paying attention there, amigos. Here we go. Come on, get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on. Ready for the ride of your life. It's show with no name time. On Vaughn Radio. It's the show with no name. Let's go. All right. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, amigos. It's time for the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. I hope you guys are ready to rock. I hope you're ready to learn some English. And most of all, to have some fun. Yeehaw! We've got lots of challenges up ahead lined up for you on today's show. Lined up is por venir, in store, or lined up. Y fijaos en la pronunciación, lined up. La D no va con line, sino con up. We've got an exciting show lined up for you. We've already started learning some totally native vocabulary. And let's start off with a nice round of applause for all of our show with no namers who are here day in, day out, putting in the time and effort and the energy, the oomph. It's another way of saying energy, the oomph. Las ganas, la energía. You guys have a lot of oomph. So how many words did we just look at in the intro? In store, lined up, por venir. Those are synonyms. All right, amigos, are you ready for our first stop on today's adventure? All right, first stop, pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. That's right, amigos. That's right. All right. Well, today's pop quiz, we're going to take a look at something from Expresiones en Inglés que deberías conocer. You can pick it up over at the Vaughn Tienda. It's vaughntienda.com. Remember, also, if you're looking for courses, we've got a lot of special deals going on right now. So you can go on over to grupovaughn.com/cursos destacados. That's where you can find out about upcoming courses such as our urban camps, our weekend camps, our summer camps, our Oxford Test of English preparation, and so much more. It's all over at grupovon.com/cursos destacados. If what you're looking for is materials for self-study, then you can go over to vontienda.com and you'll find everything you need there. So today we're going to take a look at something from a wonderful friend of mine, a magical friend. She's amazing, and you can tune into her program every day right after this program, and it's called Test Your English. It's our friend Ximena Holiday, and her and Nacho put you to the test every day on that program. It's right after this show. Make sure you listen to it. If you don't have the Vaughn Radio app, download it. It's the cheapest way I know to improve your listening comprehension. It's free. Now, what you do with it, that's up to you guys. So today's, it's not coming from Ximena's book, Test Your English, or the many other books that she has produced or edited here at Vaughn. But this one is from Expresiones en Inglés que deberías conocer. It is a book that is penned, otra forma de decir escrito, a book that is penned by my friend Ximena Holiday. And it's got over 1,000 idiomatic expressions. And I know you guys love your totally native expressions. And guess how many hours of audio this book comes with? 6 hours of audio. The book costs $10, $9.95, and you can pick it up at the Vaughn Tienda. It's Expresiones en Inglés, and it's the material we're going to look at in today's pop quiz. Let's see if you guys know these expressions, and as always, listen carefully, and then I'll have a challenge or two for you.
Baby brain.
Despistado, cuando tienes un bebé. No para echarle la culpa a todo por ser despistada, pero estoy segura de que siempre ha sido así, incluso antes de tener los mellizos.
She keeps blaming everything on baby brain, but I'm sure she was like that even before she had the twins.
Acabo de poner toda la ropa sucia en el lavavajillas. Debo de estar despistada.
I've just put all my laundry in the dishwasher. It must be my baby brain. The ball is in someone's court.
La pelota está en el tejado de alguien. Le dije a él que no podía hacer nada más, ya que la pelota estaba ahora en su tejado.
I told him that I could do no more as the ball was now in his court.
Tenemos que esperar a que tomen una decisión. La pelota está en su tejado.
We have to wait for them to decide. The ball is in their court. A ballpark estimate. A ballpark figure.
Un número aproximado. Diría que estamos pensando en un número aproximado de 60 millones.
I'd say we're looking at a ballpark estimate of around 60 million.
¿Cuál piensas que sería un número aproximado?
What do you think a ballpark figure might be? To bark up the wrong tree.
Estar equivocado. Equivocarse. Estás equivocado si esperas que Dom te ayude.
You're barking up the wrong tree if you expect Dom to help you.
Me temo que te estás equivocando. Esa no es una solución.
I'm afraid you're barking up the wrong tree. That isn't a solution.
¿Conoces Weekend Town? La nueva iniciativa de Vaughan.
Pues no.
Es un fin de semana de inmersión en inglés. Y es nuevísimo.
A ver, cuéntame más.
Tendrás una inmersión lingüística total durante 2 días. Un total de 24 horas hablando con angloparlantes de todo el mundo.
¡Wow! ¡Qué interesante!
Ganarás confianza y soltura a la hora de comunicarte en inglés. Mejorarás tu comprensión auditiva y tus habilidades conversacionales en una situación de comunicación real en inglés. Ven a Weekend Town y te sorprenderás con todo lo que puede avanzar tu inglés en un fin de semana. Weekend Town de Vaughan. Un fin de semana de inmersión en inglés. More information about Weekend Town over at grupovon.com/cursos destacados. I think it's perfect for somebody who was thinking about doing Vaughn Town, but you don't have time and money. Hey, that's my life story. A day late, a buck short. Toma expresión totally native. Llego un día tarde y me falta $1. A day late, a buck short. Well, folks, if your life story is the same as mine, well, maybe Weekend Town is the perfect option. It's a quick weekend and it won't take up too much of your time. And obviously, it's more affordable than going to the whole Vaughn Town. But remember, it's not the same. 2 days of immersion, 5 days. It all depends on you. Check out your options over at grupovon.com/cursos destacados. All right, here's what I want to see what you extracted from this audio. Number 1, give me a way of saying despistado. I want you to use it in context. O despistarse. You can use it as a verb. You can use the adjective. What I want to do is see if you know how to use this word in English, or these many ways. There are many ways of saying it. So the first one is use despistado or despistarse in context in English. Number 2, I want you to put no me culpes a mí, te estás equivocando. Okay, I want to know if you know how to say no me culpes a mí, te estás equivocando. There was an idiomatic expression there for te estás equivocando. Did you catch it? All right, and the third one is una estimación. I noticed that a lot of my students usan demasiado el more or less. Pero eso no lo usamos tanto. There was one in the audio, but I'll always accept synonyms if you've got them. So number 1, use despistarse o despistado in context. Number 2, no me eches la culpa a mí. Te estás equivocando. Te equivocas. And number 3, use más o menos, una estimación in context. All right, amigos? You can do it here in the live chat. If you're listening to the podcast, you can still do it too. Believe me, all these exercises can be done anytime. You can do them at midnight if you want. It's up to you. And in the meantime, let me remind you of this week's question of the week. Question of the week. All right, folks, question of the week. This week's question of the week, let me take a look at it. I forget it. Oh, yeah. What do you daydream about? Or who? Now, remember, don't get too raunchy. Raunchy. How do you, let's see how they raunchy is like sexual. Risque. Raunchy. Lúbrico. Pornográfico. Atrevido. Obsceno. So who or what do you daydream about? When you're supposed to be thinking about one thing, where's your mind? Especially when something is boring or, you're like, oh, man. Or if something is very routine, our mind starts to drift. I think you say, irse a la deriva, me suena? To drift, like a boat. If you don't anchor a boat, well, it's going to drift. So your mind can drift too, and it's a beautiful thing. I used to daydream. I still do, obviously. I live in a daydream. So what or who do you daydream about? If you can explain your answer in around a minute in a voice note that you can record on your phone, you can send that voice note over to me at alonso@grupovon.com. alonso@grupovon.com. And if you haven't participated yet, and I don't mean this week, I mean in general, the hell are you waiting for? It's perfect. For once, someone's really asking you your opinion. I'm kidding. Well, it's true. A lot of times people give you their opinions unsolicited. You don't ask them for it. But I'm asking you to express yourself, to give your opinion, and to be able to talk about things, all different things. Sometimes they're serious. Sometimes it's more of a light-hearted tone, lighthearted, ligero, right? Decimos de corazón ligero. So this week's, I think it's going to be fun. We'll take a look at your answers on Friday. Send the voice note to alonso@grupovon.com. Introduce yourself. It's very important. It's a good skill to do every week. Hey, it's Paco. How's it hanging? Hey, it's Paco. How's it going? Hey, it's Paco. Long time no speak. Be creative. I know I don't have to tell you that. Especially you guys. So participate. Send it to me before Thursday at the end of the workday, and we'll hear from you guys this coming Friday. Tell us what or who you daydream about, amigos. This week's question of the week. I look forward to hearing from all of you. And by the way, those of you who participate every week, congrats. It's working. It's definitely paying off. And to pay off es dar frutos. Your hard work, your effort, your oomph, as we said before, is paying off. And I think that's you can practice your writing on your own. You can practice reading on your own. You can practice, all that, watching, listening. But the thing that you really need somebody to help you with is the speaking part, the pronunciation, the putting things together, right? To say, oh, this careful. No, that's a common somebody who can guide you and help you along the way, because really it's you that's got to put in the time and the effort. The teacher's just the vehicle. We're just here to guide you in the right direction. And the better I know you, the more I can guide you. Just ask any of my students who are in class with me every week. I know their mistakes. I know their mistakes better than they do sometimes. But that's what it's about. So that's great, folks. Here we like to look at all those strengths and weaknesses, the parts where you're like, I've got this, I'm confident. And the weaknesses will eventually work on those, and we'll have other weaknesses to work on. Weakness or a mistake, whatever. Things that we can improve upon, right? Let's check in over here and see who's with us in our virtual classroom. We've got Turani in the house. Turani, good morning. And Turani says, good morning, show with no namers. Happy to share this time with all of you. Oh, yeah. Well, Turani, I see you're ready to rock, and you've got a PMA. A what? A PMA. A positive mental attitude. And if you got that mindset is esa mentalidad, you can do anything. You can move mountains, Turani. So let's move mountains together. What do you say? Are you up for it? Let's move those mountains. Born to Iron Man, speaking of people who can move mountains, our heavyweights over here, we've got our buddy Born to Iron Man. Definitely a heavyweight. Don't worry, Born to Iron Man. It's not time for the spelling bee yet. I know you heard that, and it was like Pavlov's dog, right? Did you just start to drool? Empezaste a babear diciendo, it's spelling bee already? Well, I used it as a sound effect this time because you're a heavyweight. Un peso pesado. Now, do you know the word lightweight? A lightweight is somebody who gets drunk very easily. Me. I used to be able to drink liters of beer. Just liters of it. I remember with my friends, we would literally buy liters and just down them. And now, if I drink anything near a liter of beer, I am drunk and I'm bloated. Hinchado. So, there you go. So I used to be, pero luego es interesante because we don't call somebody a heavyweight that can drink a lot. We're like, oh, he's a heavy drinker. He can hold his liquor. No lo aguanta. No se le nota. But now, man, I start to slur my words. I can't even speak, I don't know, man. I'm no spring chicken is the expression. Ya no soy un jovenzuelo, un pipiolo. So a lightweight. I'm a lightweight these days. O una forma más graciosa, a cheap date. Una cita que no te sale tan caro, no? You don't have to give me 2 bottles of champagne to take advantage of me. To have your way with me. Just a sip and I'm drunk. I love these funny little idiomatic expressions. They always make me chuckle, especially when they're very visual. He's a cheap date. She's a cheap date. Means, no, con dos cervezas, ya está, ready to rock and roll, ready to go. By the way, if you haven't listened to the FYI episodes on sex, they're funny. They're funny and I think very informative. We learn a lot of important stuff in the episode. We learn about the birds and the bees. What? ¿Aprendemos de los pájaros? ¿Y las avispas? No. Well, yes. Yeah, that birds and bees are that. But also the birds and the bees is how you talk about sex. The facts of life. 2 different ways to say it. Have you had that talk yet with your children about the birds and the bees? The facts of life? That's another way of saying sex. And if you didn't know it, it means you haven't listened to the episode. It came out last Friday. It's about sex, baby. And you know what we've got coming up this Friday? Another spicy topic. We're going to tackle Donald Trump. And I know what some of you are thinking. Are you really going to tackle him? Tirarle al suelo? Genial. Well, this is what I thought. I thought it would be an interesting topic because like him or loathe him or detestarle, I think we're all interested to hear what he has to say next. And believe it or not, you don't have to like the guy to say he has led an interesting life. With the businesses. I mean, the guy, he's an interesting character. Believe me, some topics I choose for FYI, I'm like, oof, I really have to, stretch here, rebuscar, to get enough content and make it interesting. But with DJT, Donald J. Trump, man, the last part of the episodes, at the end of the episodes, I say episodes because there are 2 every week. We analyze his 5 gems. There were a lot of them to choose. You say joyas o perlas? Gems, como cosas que dices que like, no. Really? Oh my God. So wherever you get your Vaughn podcasts, remember you can also get FYI every Friday, FYI for your English. And this Friday, it's going to be episode 23 of season 6. That's crazy. So that is incredible because there are 30. So 30 times 6, 5 times 6, 300. Is that 300? 30? Wait. So because we're not 6 yet. So 5 times 30, 150 episodes plus 23. Guys, almost 200 episodes. And honestly, not really. More than that, because every week, there's a bonus episode. So, you know what? Let's put it this way. So many freaking episodes, so many topics that I lost track. Perdí la cuenta. I lost track. And speaking of losing track, despistándome. I didn't do that on purpose. Speaking of losing track, perdiendo la pista, despistándome, literalmente, where were we? ¿En qué estábamos? Oh, right. Our pop quiz. But first, we're going to take a quick commercial break. I've got a lot of people participating here. Great news. Great to see all your names. I've got Born to Iron Man, Durani, Chris Valrol. And it also seems like there are so many other people learning English and laughing with us here on the show with No Name today. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with part 2 of today's show with No Name. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to part 2 of today's show with No Name here on Vaughn Radio, where English is exciting. You can start your day every day with the one and only Rob Grams and the Pro Bow Show. Richard Vaughn Live. Also, right before today's show, and every day, you've got my great friend Fitz, who's hosting a trivia night as well. Let me get the information. I've got it over here somewhere. That's right. It's May 8th, 2024. I always say the year because sometimes they repeat these shows. May 8th, 2024. Fitz is going to be hosting a Vaughn Radio trivia night. That's tomorrow if you're tuned in live. But either way, check your calendars. And if you can make it, join Fitz and friends. I won't be able to make it, unfortunately. I've got class. Well, I don't mean that kind of class. Tengo clase. No, I mean like with my students. I'd love to hang out with my friends, have some beers. Well, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to hang out with my friends, my students or my friends. I'm just not going to have any beers. Well, yeah, you can't have beers. Not during class, man. Didn't we just say if you have beers, you start to slur your words? So it's not a good idea to mix broadcasting with drinking. I don't recommend it. Broadcasting or teaching. Separate the two. Or else you'll sound like Ozzy Osbourne or one of these other crazy people we've heard in the Say What soundbite. Say what? What? Hands up. what, say what, say what, say what. All right, folks, your Say What soundbite here on the show with no name. You're going to hear it 4 times, as always. You'll have 4 chances to jot down every word you hear. But initially, I just want you to tell me in your best English a summary, in a nutshell, en resumidas cuentas. I want to know exactly what you heard. You guys know the drill. Ya sabéis cómo va esto. So is everybody ready? All right, well, let's do it. Here's your Say What soundbite for the first time. Pay close attention.
Oh, I didn't gamble. I was just here for a friend's bachelor party. I guess he's the gambler. Excuse me, what's this, $110?
Those are your in-room movies.
No, I didn't watch any movies.
Okay, let's see. Afro Horse.
Afro whores?
All right. There we go, amigos. All right. Sounds strange there, doesn't it? All right. Let me give it to you again. Just give you a second to just digest that. We say the same thing as you. Digerir, I think you say, to digest that. All right. To let it soak in. And I'm going to give it to you now for the second time.
Oh, I didn't gamble. I was just here for a friend's bachelor party. I guess he's the gambler. Excuse me, what's this, $110?
Those are your in-room movies.
No, I didn't watch any movies.
Okay, let's see. Afro Horse.
Afro whores?
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mhm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así de gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damian, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
Vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit. That's right, folks. This book is the shit. It's my latest book. If you haven't picked up a copy, you can do it over at vaughantienda.com, or stop by in person. We'd love to meet you. Now, hang on one second. I'm glad I checked my email over here. I just told you guys that Fitz's Trivia is Wednesday. Wrong. See? There's been a lot of confusion over here, but let me clear it up right now. It is Tuesday, as we initially said. I think that's the date we initially said. So Tuesday, the 7th of May. If you're listening to this and it's Tuesday, the 7th of May, you are in luck. You've got time to make it to the Vaughn Radio Trivia Night, and it's at Calle de Amaniel 23, and it's kicking off at 8:30, hosted by the one and only Fitz from No Excuses. All right, let's go on over to our chat room. We've got a lot of people participating in the pop quiz, and hopefully you guys will have something to say about our Say What soundbite. Let's see. Born to Iron Man says ups. I think I know what you want to say. Oops. Right? Because that in English is ups. Ajá. Bueno, me gusta que has puesto eso, because now we're going to learn 2 words today that start with a double O. We looked at the word oomph, energía, oomph, right? Ganas, energía, esas ganas. But also oops is O-O-P-S, lo de oops, uy, right? Si no, en inglés, it's UPS, ¿no? Los que hacen, como FedEx, UPS, o si lo lees así, it's ups. So just be careful with that one. That's one of those, like in Spanish, you say, wow, G-U-A-U. We say, wow, W-O-W, que no es lo mismo que wow, que es W-O-A-H. Que he visto también hey, escrito E-Y. No, en inglés it's hey, con H. So I know those are little things, but those are little things that give you away there. So now you know, amigos. Oops en inglés, aunque se dice igual, se escribe O-O-P-S. Oops, oopsie. I like that one too. Oopsie daisy. So he goes, oops, I forgot my phone at home. What a baby brain. All right, baby brain is good, but specifically because you have a little child, right? So that's a very specific despistado, all right? Just so you guys know. So what a baby brain. Then he says, don't blame me. You're barking at the wrong tree. Casi, we'll give it to you, but I need to correct it. You're barking up the wrong tree. Right? Piensa que la persona está, el perro está mirando hacia arriba. You're barking up the wrong tree. And the last one, he says, India will have 1.4 billion people in no time. Well, this is a bark park prediction. A bark park? I can't give you credit for that one. A bark park. All right, so a couple things. Born to Iron Man and everybody. Oops en inglés. O-O-P-S. Baby brain está bien, pero es cuando nos despistamos porque pues tenemos niños muy jóvenes. Let's see. Don't blame me. You're barking up the wrong tree. And la tercera is a ballpark prediction, not a bark park. I like the way it sounds. Let's see, Turani. Let's see what Turani has to say. Turani says, my sister has many baby brains. Okay, she has a lot of baby brain then, I would say. I wouldn't say many, porque no es contable. She has baby brain. Or she has a big case, un gran caso. She's got a huge case, lo más nativo. She has a big case of, or a huge case of baby brains. She puts the sugar in the fridge, Turani, right? Because to put the sugar on the fridge, pues no es tan raro, ponerlo encima, right? So to put the sugar, y cuidado con la pronunciación, amigos, no es sugar, it's sugar. Sugar, sugar, honey, honey, you are my candy girl. All right, so a couple little adjustments there. So my sister has a big case of baby brains. She put the sugar in the fridge. Number 2, she was barking at the wrong horse. The boss didn't lead properly. Durani, maybe you're going to teach me an idiomatic expression. Bark at wrong horse. I've never heard it. Oh, no. Okay, to bark, backing. Okay, I see what's going up here. I got it. Okay. So we're mixing two things here. She was barking up the wrong tree, would be the expression, right? Not at, guys. So if you said the dog was barking at me or barking at strangers or intruders, entonces sí. Pero la expresión is to bark up the wrong tree, okay? And I think what you're putting, Turani, you're mixing it with she's backing the wrong horse. And to back the wrong horse is apostar mal. Piénsalo. Voy a respaldar a este caballo en la carrera. Pues no acertaste. Man, see, I told you to bet on me. You bet on the other guy. You backed the wrong horse. So a good expression, but it's a mix there, a hybrid. But I love it. Turani, very creative. Very, very creative. And the last one, the estimated sales are discouraging. We'll give it to you, estimated. All right, let's see. Chris Valrol. Chris Valrol going to take a stab at it. Good morning to you, Chris. She says, morning, dear show with no namers. I'm usually focused, but sometimes I can become an absent-minded one. There you go. And if you want, you can just say, I can become absent-minded. Y te quitas el one y el an. I can become, or I can be quite absent-minded. Excellent, Chris. That's the first person that gave me despistado en general. Que es realmente, a lo mejor no lo dejé claro, but despistarse, so that's great, to be absent-minded. I can be absent-minded, she says. Excellent. Don't blame me. You're barking up the wrong tree. Chris, you nailed it. And the last one, she says, by my reckoning, por mis estimaciones, excellent. By my reckoning, I'd say we have 10 available towels. Great job. Wow. Wonderful job in our pop quiz. So despistado. I'm sorry, I was distracted, right? Te doy todas, distraído, right? Cero estar. I was distracted. I was lost in thought. I was daydreaming. Linking it to our question of the week. Despistado, olvidadizo, porque uno es distraído, right? Then there's olvidadizo. I'm absent-minded, as Chris pointed out. I'm forgetful. I'm scatterbrained. O sea, el adjetivo scatter es cuando todo está desperdigado por todos sitios, right? I think that's the word. So, tienes el cerebro por todas partes. So you can use it as a noun. He's a scatterbrain. Or he's scatterbrained. And it's the same as absent-minded or forgetful. My favorite is absent-minded. Ausente de mente. It just makes sense. O sea, no estás presente en tu propia mente. Desorientado, distracted, or dizzy. Confused. Olvidadiza. He's distracted. He's confused. He's not with it. No está aquí del todo. Right? Also now, as a verb, despistar a alguien, distraer o desconcertar. Are you trying to distract me? ¿Os acordáis también to throw off, desconcertar? Are you trying to throw me off? To mislead me? No, confundir, engañar. Because I get distracted, me despisto. I get sidetracked. That's my middle name, by the way. No, estoy hablando de una cosa y voy a otra cosa. Siempre vuelvo. But I get sidetracked. Me voy por una tangente. Me distraigo, ¿no? And that's about it. Those are some of the, Your head is in the clouds. Eso es otra, ¿no? Tienes la cabeza en las nubes. So excellent job, amigos. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful job. So that's despistado. The other one, to bark up the wrong tree. Don't blame me. You're barking up the wrong tree. And the last one that nobody gave me, but it was in the audio, and it's one that has to do with baseball. Ballpark. How many beach chairs do we have left? Ballpark. ¿Cuántas sillas de playa tenemos? Nos quedan. Ballpark, más o menos. Right? Ballpark. Otra también que usamos, roughly. Roughly. ¿No? Como una estimación. Roughly $20. I think it was 20 and change. Wonderful job, amigos. Let's see. Turani says, I got it. Thank you, Alberto. My pleasure. My pleasure, Turani. I know you got it. Remember, mistakes are blessings. All right. Leo, there he is. Speaking of blessings, Leo, great to have you. Our resident poet. He says, in a scene from a movie, some youngsters are talking, making fun of each other, and playing with words, while one of them, a movie hater, asks them for some borrowed money, or asks them to borrow money. Great job. Wonderful job. Leo, you got it. Anybody else want to comment here on our Say What soundbite? Great job in the pop quiz, amigos. If not, we will definitely move on, because as you know, we've got a lot of stuff to cover here every day on the show. So we're going to move on to perhaps our most challenging section every day on the show, our Spelling Bee.
Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee.
All right, folks, it is our Spelling Bee here on the show with No Name. And as always, this is going to be tough. So here we go. I am going to fly through these. This is round one. Let's capitalize the first letter of each word for the sake of simplicity. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The first one is S-I-E-G-E space M-A-L-A-G-A. The second one is R-E-C-O-N-Q-U-E-S-T space S-P-A-I-N. The third one, C-A-T-H-O-L-I-C space M-O-N-A-R-C-H-S. The fourth one, E-M-I-R-A-T-E space G-R-A-N-A-D-A. The fifth one, A-M-B-U-L-A-N-C-E-S. And the last one, F-R-A-N-C-I-S-C-O space R-A-M-I-R-E-Z space M-A-D-R-I-D. Do you mean business with your English? ¿Vas en serio? Well, if you don't have Kyle Miller's book, Business English, then you are missing out. Kyle's not only an English teacher, but he holds an MBA, and he will guide you through the ins and outs of business and the English language, all while having fun. Business English by Kyle Miller is the most complete English resource available, and it comes with audio and video. Pick up a copy of Kyle Miller's Business English. That is, if you mean business. Available at vontienda.com. That's right, folks. Tons of amazing materials at your fingertips. Just stop by vontienda.com or stop by in person. All right, let's see. Chris, I've got Chris Valrol participating in our Say What soundbite. Let's see what she heard. She says, it's an excerpt from a movie. I heard a man and a woman. Maybe he's going to pay for something, and they want to charge him for something. Falta el for. They want to charge him for something, for some movies that he hasn't seen. Something that has to do with sex. Great ear. Wow, Chris. Really good ear there. You were on point. Hopefully somebody will be able to get it before the end. Remember, you're going to hear it an additional 2 times in the second half of today's show. Let's take a look at our spelling bee too to see if anybody got it on the first go. I have to admit, that was brutal. That was so fast, but I don't think it was too fast for our buddy Born to Iron Man, because as I look at it over here, dude, unbelievable. Perfect. Unfreaking believable that you got all of these words, and not only that you got them on the first go, but you have dotted your I's, you have crossed your T's, and it looks absolutely magical. And also, Chris Valrol, look at those super students. Wow. Amigos, we're going to take a quick commercial break right now. When we come back, we will do part 2 of our spelling bee. Wow, Turani, looks like you got it too. Guys, I can't go any faster than that. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Holy cow. Tenemos muchas cosas sagradas. All right, amigos, we're going to take a quick commercial break right now. When we come back, we'll take a look at that. We've got Name That Movie. We've got homophones. We've got lyrics, double trouble, and so much more in store. Hey, I'm a poet, and I didn't even know it. Folks, we'll be right back. Stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to part 3 of today's show with no name, exclusively on Vaughn Radio, where English is exciting. It's informative. It's interactive. Just download our free Vaughn Radio app, and you can take us with you wherever, whenever. You can learn English as you go about your day. Buena expresión. To go about your day. Mientras hagas tus cosas. Vivas tu vida. You know, that's the way we've got to do it these days. Unfortunately, we've got to multitask. You know? I'm taking out the garbage and answering an email at the same time. That's right. The good thing is you can answer an email speaking these days. Do you guys ever do that? It's a good way to know if you pronounce very well. If not, your phone won't recognize you. Hi, period. It's really great to hear from you, period. Thank you so much for your email, period. Regarding our conversation from last week, comma, have you ever done it? Makes life easy, especially when you're sick of looking at your screen. I don't know about you guys, but I spend more time in front of a screen, I should say 2 screens, than I would like to. You know? But I'm not a farmer or a gardener. I don't work outdoors. But I'm telling you, folks, you can do your gym routine, you can go for a run and listen to Vaughn Radio. Just download the free Vaughn Radio app and get ready to learn. All right, let me give you guys the Say What soundbite. Here it is for the 3rd time.
Oh, I didn't gamble. I was just here for a friend's bachelor party. I guess he's the gambler. Excuse me, what's this, $110?
Those are your in-room movies.
No, I didn't watch any movies.
Okay, let's see. Afro Horse.
Afro whores?
Listen. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughntown, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughntown, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to groupovaughn.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughntown. Don't forget, you got Vaughntown, you got Weekend Town, you got summer camps for the kids, urban camps. You got so many options at your fingertips. And what do you have to do? Simple. Go to grupovaughn.com/cursos destacados. All right, folks, this is your spelling bee. This is round 2. By the way, wonderful job to Born to Iron Man, Chris Valrol, and Tudani. Wonderful. All right, here we go. The first one is, and this is, again, even beginners should be able to keep up with this one. The first one is SIEGE space MALAGA. The next one is RECONQUEST space SPAIN. The third one is CATHOLIC space MONARCHS. The fourth one is EMIRATE space GRANADA. The fifth one is AMBULANCES. And the sixth one is FRANCISCO space RAMIREZ space MADRID. Let me just take a breath here for a minute. My goodness. All right. Well, I'm sure you guys here in Spain recognized at least some of those words, like in the first word, which was the Siege of Malaga. You know the word Malaga, I'm sure. And the word siege is an attack, like a military attack, right? So asedio, sitio, it says here. No? Un ataque. A siege. It's a weird word. Siege. And this was an action that took place in 1487 during the reconquest of Spain. You call it la reconquista. We call it the reconquest of Spain, in which the Catholic monarchs, you say the Catholic kings, but remember, she was a queen. So monarch is how you include Isabella. And from what I hear, she was wearing the pants. Is that true? Que ella llevaba la voz cantante. I don't know, but I remember we learned a lot about Ferdinand and Isabella, the Catholic monarchs. And I want you to pronounce that word with me because it's not Catholic. I've heard a lot of students say Catholic. It's Catholic. La O no se pronuncia. Escúchalo. Catholic. The Catholic monarchs. Queen Isabella I of Castile. Anytime I talk about history, I have to go into my British accent. And King Ferdinand II of Aragon. Yes. And, well, they unified Spain under the Catholic cross. And they're called the Catholic monarchs instead of the Catholic kings, which, as I said, poor Isabella. Now, what else? This is where they conquered the city of Malaga. That's why it's called the Siege of Malaga. And you know who was running the show there? Let's see if you guys know your history. Did you say the Emirate of Granada? That's right. The Emirate of Granada, who was also known as Nasrid Kingdom of Granada. And this was a realm, una zona, in the south of the Iberian Peninsula. And during the late Middle Ages, it was ruled by what was called the Nasrid dynasty. Just be careful because the British pronounce that word dynasty. The Nasrid dynasty. And that was the last independent Muslim state in Western Europe. And if you can see it, it includes Vera, which is Almeria. So it goes up almost to Lorca, not that far up, but it ends around Vera, Albox. So that area, Granada, all the way over to Granada, Marbella, all of that area was the Emirate of Granada. So again, I'm probably not teaching you guys anything. You probably know more about your history than I do, but I thought it would be good to be able to talk about it in English. So the siege, also, as we said, the pronunciation of the word Catholic. So if you're Catholic, then you go to a cathedral. Otra que he oído mucha gente decir, catedral, right? Cathedral. El énfasis va en la I, cathedral, Catholic. So the fourth emirate of Granada, the fifth was ambulances. Now, quiero que escuches como lo he pronunciado aquí. Ambulances. No es ambulance, it's ambulance. La U suena como U. The ambulance. Now, why did I give you the word ambulances? Well, this was the first conflict in which ambulances or dedicated vehicles, maybe at that time they didn't call them ambulances, but there were vehicles that were dedicated solely for the purpose of carrying injured people, what we would call an ambulance. So that's an important thing that came from this battle. They were carting people away who were injured and had battle wounds. And a battle wound is, you say, herida de batalla? we say a battle wound, a battle wound. And the last one is Francisco Ramirez de Madrid. Ramirez de Madrid was the guy who commanded those troops over there that left the area of Écija. I'm sure you guys, again, I'm sure you know more about this than I do. But if you want to learn more about Spain and about the peninsula in English, don't forget there's an FYI episode that you can get on this. And I'll tell you something, it's awesome. Why? Well, I'm not saying it because I produced it. I'm saying it because we hear from a lot of your teachers, your friends here on Vaughan Radio, and some of my friends that are not on Vaughan Radio telling us why we love Spain. So telling everyone why we love Spain so much. So there you go, my amigos. A little Spanish history for you in English. It's interesting stuff that you could probably put into a movie. Name that movie. All right, folks, welcome to Name That Movie. Let's see what we've got for today's Name That Movie. Just setting the scene over here. And here we go. A man enslaved by the mob since childhood is raised into behaving like a human attack dog, escapes his captors, and attempts to start a new life. Wow, sounds interesting. And we already talked about dogs. We talked about barking up the wrong tree, right? To bark up the wrong tree. Te equivocas. You're barking up the wrong tree. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention this before. Do you know what bark is? También es la corteza del árbol. So it's a good way to remember it. If you remember the expression, he wasn't barking at you. He was barking at the bark. Well, either way, he was barking up the wrong tree. And then the idiomatic expression, his bark is worse than his bite, or her bark is worse than her bite. Does this one sound familiar? If someone's bark is worse than perro mordedor, poco ladrador, you know the one I'm saying, right? Perro ladrador, poco mordedor. It's a difficult one for me to say. We say his bark is worse than his bite. So does anybody recognize it over there? A man enslaved, esclavizado. Enslaved. So a slave is the person. The verb is to be enslaved. So a man enslaved by the mob. The mob is the mafia, which, by the way, there's an FYI episode on that. Since childhood, niñez, y la madurez, adulthood. Y lo de ser padre, parenthood. ¿Ves y el que roba de los ricos para dar a los pobres? Robin Hood. Okay, never mind. So since childhood, he is raised into behaving like, and let me tell you something, behave? Why say behave when you can just say act? He's raised into acting like a human attack dog, and he escapes his captors and attempts to start a new life. So there you go, amigos. Anybody? All right, well, we can take a look at some dog idioms. Let's see if you guys know these. If I say it's a dog-eat-dog world, what am I saying? Are you familiar with that one? That means it's highly competitive. It's cutthroat. It's dog-eat-dog. New York City is dog-eat-dog. No, aquí Es una carrera de locos, es de bestias, de locos, right? Super competitivo, cutthroat, dog eat dog, right? Especially in the dog days of summer. I think you use the idiomatic expression today because today, I mean, in your language, and maybe in the summer, in the dog days of summer, you're dog tired. Cansadísimo. Man, I am dog tired. All bark and no bite. It's another way of saying his bark is worse than his bite. To fight like cat and dog. My mom used to say that one to my sister and I all the time. I wonder why. Another one, every dog has its day. A cada cerdo le llega su San Martín, I think you say in Spanish. To be sick as a dog. Estar malísimo. Man, I am sick as a dog. I'm dog tired because I didn't sleep last night because it's hot, because we're in the dog days of summer. And I work at a job that is just dog eat dog. Wow, we could really use a lot of expressions there. A doggy bag, esta es buena saberla también. If you order a lot of food in the United States, which usually without trying you do because the portions are so big, you'll ask for a doggy bag. A doggy bag. See, everybody knows it's for you, but we call it a doggy bag. If you're like a dog with two tails, that means you're really excited. And remember, dogs don't move their tails. We don't say, mira, está moviendo el rabo. We say, ¿te sabes la expresión? El verbo? He's wagging his tail. To wag his tail. All right. So a lot of, again, it's a very popular animal. Well, there are many popular idiomatic expressions about dogs as well. And there's an FYI episode on dogs. There's another one on cats that I did with Suzanne from English Smarts. Remember, you can find those wherever you get your Vaughn podcasts. All right, going once, going twice. Does anybody recognize the movie? It's got a great title, by the way. Unleashed. Desatado. Well, there's another good word, right, that comes from dogs and this vocabulary. So a dog has a leash and a collar. And if the dog is not on his leash, then the dog is unleashed, right? But it's also a verb, right? I will unleash a fury, desatar, dar rienda suelta, desplegar, desencadenar. It's a great word, unleash, all right? Have you seen the movie Unleashed? It came out in 2005. It stars Jet Li. Jet Li, you guys know Jet Li. Bob Hoskins. Bob Hoskins is the guy from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. You know that one? ¿Cómo lo llamáis? El Roger Rabbit, ¿cómo lo llamáis en español? We call it Who Framed. ¿Quién le hizo parecer el culpable? ¿Quién le tendió la trampa? Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Well, Bob Hoskins, he plays the guy with the trench coat, right? Very funny guy. And you got Morgan Freeman. I don't know about you, but any movie with Morgan Freeman is a good movie, in my opinion. I don't just mean because he's in it, but it seems like he makes good decisions, or at least his people, his agent, his manager. A lot of times they help when it comes to making these decisions. So it's called Unleashed. And Morgan Freeman, for example, if you've seen the movie, his character is blind, ciego. And at first, he wasn't supposed to be. It wasn't written into the script. And what happened was Morgan Freeman said, well, wait a second. You know, given the circumstances, he said it would be a good idea, he thought, and he pitched the idea, right? To pitch the idea is to sell the idea, that the character would be blind because then it would be easier for him to see the child in Jet Li's character and not the killer, right? To see the softer side of him because he wasn't looking at him, right? He was just listening to him. And you know what? He bought it. The director bought it. And in the end, Morgan Freeman got his way. Do you know that expression? To get your way es salirse con la suya. It means what you say goes, right? The best example I can use, and I always tell you guys to personalize it, the best example, my daughter. My daughter always gets her way. Hey, it's not funny. It's true. It's based on a true story. All right. And also Jet Li. Jet Li. And then we've got a jet to a commercial break. To Jet, pirarnos, Jet Li. Oh, man. I've got jokes for you today. Jet Li. Me tengo que... Okay. Well, Jet Li is not only good at martial arts and acting, but also very skilled at playing the piano. So that's pretty cool. And in this movie, he plays the piano, and you can even find, if you want to see him, this talented actor, Jet Li, playing the piano, you can find videos of him just by Googling Jet Li playing the piano. And I did, and wow, very talented, very gifted pianist. All right, well, I'll tell you what, guys. Let's do this. We're going to do things a little bit out of order because I want to try and squeeze as much as I can in there. So we'll take a look at the scene from the movie in the fourth part. And before we go to our commercial break, I'll give you your homophones on the show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, because homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Because homophones time, it's homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with homophones. That's right, amigos, homophones. Now, it's interesting because somebody said this word before, and I said it aloud. I think it was Born to Iron Man, maybe, or Turani. Well, either way, that's not the important part. The important part is the word came up, and unless somebody has hacked into my computer, I don't know how you did that. Well, the first word is pedir prestado. Tomar prestado, right? Usar, temporarily. I wish some friends of mine understood that, right? Okay, I'm going to lend you this. To lend es prestar, pero yo estoy hablando de pedir prestado, okay? Usar algo. All right, that is your first word. And I know many of you are probably familiar with it, especially because I just told you it's not lend. And we'll take a look at the usage of this word and lend afterwards. And the second word is madriguera. It's also a verb, cavar o excavar, right? Something a mole or some kind of rodent would do. How do you say rodent? Roedor? I think me suena. Rodent? All right. Yeah, sometimes. Hey, nice. Look at that. I got it. Roedor, rodent. All right, so those are your two words over there, amigos. Number one, tomar prestado, usar algo. The second one is madriguera, y también, como si no fuera fácil ya, pues lo empleamos como verbo cavar o excavar, o sea, hacer una madriguera. I love it when things make sense. All right, folks, we'll be right back with the rest of today's show with no name. So, stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to part 4. That's right, it's part 4 of today's show with no name here on Vaughn Radio. I can't believe it. We are in the 4th and final part of the show. Just a quick reminder, you've got amazing shows all afternoon long. Right after today's show, you've got Ximena Holiday in Test Your English. Then you've got the one and only Rob Grams and Andy Vaughn. Amazing chemistry from these two. After that, Speak Up with Ruby. Then you can get random with Jules Linares or have a salad with Dave Boys. You can get in the car and enjoy some drive time with Kyle Miller or have a cocktail with Chris Frank in Frankly Speaking. And don't forget, Jessica is back on Saturdays with the Hour to Empower. Download the Vaughn Radio app, amigos. And this way you can learn from all your favorite teachers. All right. We're going to listen to our Say What soundbite here. Here's the 4th and final listen.
Oh, I didn't gamble. I was just here for a friend's bachelor party. I guess he's the gambler. Excuse me, what's this, $110?
Those are your in-room movies.
No, I didn't watch any movies.
Okay, let's see. Afro Horse.
Afro whores?
Do you know about Vaughn groups? Well, I'm going to tell you all about them. They are group English classes that you can do via video conference or in person. And the good news is you can start whenever you want. And you can keep the same timetable, teacher, and classmates throughout the whole course. And the best part, there's no strings attached. Sin compromiso. And if you act now, you can get a 5% discount for paying up front. And if you stick with the course for 6 months, you'll get a 50% discount in June. Wow, what a deal! As if you needed more reasons to learn English with Vaughn. Check out our Vaughn groups. Have fun and make friends as you learn English. Sign up now while there are still spots available. Call us 911-385831. Or you can go to our website, grupovaughn.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media and find out if Vaughn groups are for you. More information about Vaughn groups, urban town, weekend town, whatever you're looking for, we've got you covered. It's grupovaughn.com/cursos destacados. And if you're looking for materials, it's vaughntienda.com. Chris, I didn't see your comment before in Name That Movie. I don't know why, but I can see it now. So, Chris, you got the movie. I was actually wondering, I'm like, maybe Chris took a potty break. Se ha ido al baño un segundo. Unleashed is our movie, and we're going to take a look at that in just a moment. First, we're going to take a look at our homophones. Also, the movie, ¿Quién engañó a Roger Rabbit? In English, it's Who Framed Roger Rabbit. All right, let's take a look at our homophones. Chris says and those are the correct words, Chris. And she says they aren't homophones. I'd say like the director, James. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if Turani agrees with you or disagrees with you. Turani says, I think and aren't homophones. Okay. Well, there's only one way to figure this out. Let's say the words. Now, we already said let's clear up lend and borrow. Okay? So lend, vamos a usarlo como lo usaríamos. En contexto, no solo vale con saber la palabra lend. Can you lend me $5? Can you lend it to me? To lend to borrow from. I borrowed $20 from my cousin. He lent me $20, or he lent $20 to me. Más fácil, he lent me. Is lend, lent, lent. Y borrow is borrow, borrowed, borrowed. De hecho, you're on borrowed time, young man. Es una frase hecha, ¿no? Ya se te está agotando el tiempo. You're on borrowed time. So say it with me. Borrow. Can I borrow your pen a second? Es muy común. Can you lend me your pen? Can I borrow your pen for a second? Right? So borrow. Borrow. Sounds like I'm saying barro, pero pronunciándolo a la inglesa. Excuse me, do you know where I can get the baños de barro? I need to borrow some barro from los baños de barro. All right. Hey, if it helps you remember it. And the second one is burrow. Not ba. Borrow, burrow. So borrow. Can I borrow $20? Usando lo práctico. Right? The mole or the rat or the rodent burrowed a hole. To burrow. So they are not homophones. Wonderful job. Excellent job, Chris, Valrol, and Turani. Let's go on back to the movies now, because we were taking a look at our movie Unleashed, right? We also say it joking around, like when I'll go out with my friends, they say, oh, your wife let you off the leash? Te soltó la cadena? Obviously, it's joking. It's in a sarcastic way. Nobody's on a leash. Everybody has free will, at least in my home. Nobody's on a leash, but it's the typical joke, right? Oh, and how can I forget? One of my favorite ones has to do with, being married or being, having a partner, right? Being in a relationship. To be in the doghouse. Esto es, estás relegado al sofá. If you're in the doghouse, you did something bad, man. You forgot a birthday or something or an anniversary. You are in the doghouse. So dog lovers, even if you're not a dog lover, you should know all these idiomatic expressions we have in English that have to do with dogs. Why? Because they're popular animals. That's why. All right, let's take a look at the scene from Unleashed with Jet Li, Morgan Freeman, and many others. Sam says, do you remember me telling you about where I grew up? ¿Te acuerdas cuando te contaba de donde yo me crié? To grow up. En pasado es grew up. Okay? Y a grown up es otra forma de decir un adulto. O sea, un crecido, un criado ya. He's a grown up. It's another way of saying adult. De hecho, adult tiene dos pronunciaciones. He's an adult or he's an adult. Te lo juro, ¿eh? Los dos te valen. He's an adult or he's an adult. O te quitas la tontería saying he's a grown-up. So, do you remember me telling you about where I grew up? In New York City? And he says, Danny answers, where Carnegie Hall is? And Sam says, yeah. Well, that's where Victoria and I are from. That's our home. Eso es nuestra casa. And Danny says, this is your home. Esto es tu casa, tu hogar. That's the difference. A home can be a concept. A house is a physical place, right? I feel at home in Madrid. I feel at home in New York. I feel at home in Almeria, right? It's not it's because I feel it's the concept one, okay? And remember, when we use this, since it's a concept, we don't say to. What time do you get to your home? No. What time do you get home from work? Piensa, se emplea igual que here and there because they're concepts. What time did you get there? What time do you usually get here? What time do you get home? Right? But not to get to home. O sea, pon to get here, to get there, to get home. Ninguno coge el to. Los demás sí. What time did you get to the office? We're talking about a place now. But since home is a concept, it's like here or there. Got it? Okay, cool. Well, I've heard a lot of people say, I get to my home. No, I get to my house. Oh, más fácil. I get home at 7 p.m. every night. What time did you get home yesterday? All right. So then Danny says, this is your home. And Sam says, no. This is just a temporary home. Okay. We only came here so that Victoria could attend school. And be careful with the false friend. It's not asistir, because to assist is to help. And another common mistake I found with this, we don't say attend to. He attended to his English class. No, he attended his English class. So primero no es assist y segundo no empleamos el to ahí, como en español. En español decís asistió a la clase. We just say asistió clase. Okay? So he says, no, this is just a temporary home. We only came here so that Victoria could attend school. What I'm trying to say, Danny, is after Victoria graduates, después de que se gradúa Victoria, and there's another one, careful with this, the verb, to graduate. The noun, he's a graduate. So Victoria is going to be, dilo conmigo, por favor. Victoria is going to be a graduate when she graduates. So it's after Victoria graduates, and we're going to go back home. ¿Ves? Otra vez, no, back to home. ¿Ves como te acabo de decir? We're going to go home. We're going to go back home, pero sin el to. We're going to go back to New York. Fíjate ahora el to. ¿Por qué? Porque New York's a tangible place. And, well, I don't know how this would work out. No sé cómo iría esto. I don't know how this would work out, but we would really like for you to come with us. Nos gustaría que vinieras con nosotros. La estructura. We would really like for you to come with us because we've come to think of you, otra estructura muy buena. Hemos llegado a pensar en ti como familia, ¿no? Because we've come to think of you as family. And, well, that's what families do. Eso es lo que hacen las familias. They stick together. Se aferran, se juntan. They stick together. I know you know stick around, but did you know stick together? You know what it reminds me of? Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Okay, guys, I'm going to stick together with the girls and you two stick together, right? Isn't that funny how Fred always ended up with the girls and Shaggy and Scooby always stuck together? So he goes, they stick together. At least this one does. Esta familia sí que lo hace. And so he says, so what do you say? Así que, ¿qué me dices? So what do you? It's not what do you say, pero si lo dices rápido es what do you? So what do you say? What do you say? All right, amigos, we've got a winner in our Say What soundbite. Speaking of what do you say, Chris Valrol. And Chris says, I didn't get the last word. I looked in the dictionary for something that fit phonetically. O puedes decir, Chris, el phrasal verb, I looked up in the dictionary, right? To look up es consultar. For something that fit phonetically because you laughed. And then I thought of something crazy from a comedy. I think it's the word. Chris, you are a detective. Yes, and yes. You nailed it. Wow. Excellent job. All right, folks, it's time for Famous Birthday Trivia. Birthdays for you. Famous birthdays for me. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Birthdays for him. Famous birthdays for her. Birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. All right, amigos, famous birthdays. And by the way, keep up the great work. I've got to say one thing. If you're going to participate in Ximena's show, Test Your English up next. Well, you guys are warmed up. I can't warm you up any more than you are now. And we haven't even gotten to the end. We still have to do our famous birthdays. We got to check our Say What soundbite. And of course, we've got to do our Oh, guys, how can I forget? I forgot Double Trouble. All right, well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you famous birthdays, and then we'll solve our Say What soundbite, and I'll give you Double Trouble. Wow, guys, I can't believe it. See, when you're flying, sometimes you just forget and you get sidetracked. Te despistas. Hey, we're going back to where we started. Let's see if you know today's famous birthdays. The first person was born in 1946, an American drummer, a founding member of the rock band The Grateful Dead, perhaps one of the most famous, iconic American bands, The Grateful Dead. If you want, there are some really interesting documentaries about the Grateful Dead, because it wasn't just about a concert. It was about a community. It was about people traveling around, leaving their jobs, leaving their school, and just traveling around with this group. And they mixed all kinds of music: blues, jazz, folk, country, bluegrass, gospel, reggae. And they were known for improvising, for their jam. They're what we call a jam band. And the band now that's kind of taken over there is Fish. Pero Fish se escribe con PH. And I have to be honest, maybe that's the reason I love concerts so much, but the first band I ever saw was the Grateful Dead with Sting. Sting was opening for him. Era telonero. And I must say, I was quite grateful. All right. Oh, and if you can also, I think the name of the documentary is Deadheads. So the people that followed the Grateful Dead on tour were called Deadheads, right? And usually if you say head, it's somebody that does something a lot. So a pothead, somebody that smokes a lot of pot. Weed. A cokehead, somebody who does a lot of cocaine, right? So let's head to our next person. Head, dirigirnos a. Okay, the next person was born in 1954, an American director, producer, and screenwriter. And some of her movies. This is one of my favorites. I don't know what you call it in Spanish. It's a classic from 1982. It stars Sean Penn. It's called Fast Times at Ridgemont High. She also directed Johnny Dangerously. Also, National Lampoon's European Vacation. Also, Look Who's Talking, which is where, in Look Who's Talking, that's where Bruce Willis does the voice of the baby with John Travolta. Oh, wait, of course. Have you seen that movie in English? Si no, has oído claro. No digo que no lo ha hecho bien, pero the voice of the baby in the English version, the original version of Look Who's Talking, que creo que se llama igual, Mira Quién Habla, is Bruce Willis. She also directed Clueless, que no se entera. Somebody's clueless. They have no idea what's going on. That's another way of saying despistado también, que no se entera. Loser. That's another one. Acuérdate, loser se escribe con una O, no con dos O's, porque si no es looser, más suelto. And she also did A Night at the Roxbury and so many others. She's a very successful director, producer, screenwriter who graduated from NYU, New York University. Or, para usarlo en contexto, she's a graduate of NYU, right? Acuérdate, persona, graduate, el verbo graduate. And last but not least, an American actor, writer, and producer. He was in the movie Clueless. Wait a second. So these people work together? I hope they celebrated their birthdays together if they were working that day. So yes, he was in the film Clueless, which was directed by our second birthday girl. He was also in The Craft. He was in Road Trip. I got to say, that's one of those sophomoric movies I love. Sophomoric is like inmaduro, de humor, you know. I love those. Also, Rat Race, que es Carrera de Locos. We were talking about that before. Life is a rat race. De hecho, es una canción de Bob Marley, si no lo conoces. Rat Race. Excellent song. As well as a movie which this guy stars in. He was also John Arbuckle in the Garfield movies. John Arbuckle. My daughter loves Garfield. Oh, Chris says, aquel excitante curso. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And Chris, you got our famous birthdays. Wonderful job. Number 1. Bill Kreitzman from the Grateful Dead, or as we call them, the Dead. Number 2, Amy Heckerling. I love her movies. She's hysterical. And last but not least, Breckin Meyer. I know you pronounce that Meyer, but that last name, M-E-Y-E-R, would be Breckin Meyer. And that's going to bring us to a movie with Breckin Meyer in it in our Say What soundbite. This is the movie Rat Race, and he's checking out of a hotel. He's talking to the receptionist, and he's settling up. To settle up, ¿qué se debe? You know? And then she basically tells him, well, you have a couple charges here. Tienes algunos cargos aquí que hay que, that you owe, ¿qué debes? And he goes, oh, I don't, I didn't gamble. Yo es que no juego, no hago el juego. He says, I was just here for a friend's bachelor party. Yo estaba aquí para la despedida soltero de un amigo. Bachelor party or bachelorette party. That's in the United States. In England, they say stag party or a hen party. So that's an interesting one there. And so he goes, I was just here for a friend's bachelor party. I guess he's the gambler, And then he goes, excuse me, what's this $110? ¿Qué es estos $110? And she says, well, those are your in-room movies, ¿no? Las películas que viste en tu habitación. And he goes, well, no, I didn't watch any movies. And obviously there's a line forming and everybody's watching. And she looks at the piece of paper and she looks down and she looks back up at him and she says, let's see. Afro whores. Whores is prostitutas, zorra. It's not a nice word. Not horse. Let's listen to the difference. Horse, caballo, whores. A word I don't recommend you use. So the woman goes, Afro whores, o sea, cerdas, it's a porn movie title, obviously. And he repeats, Afro whores? And everybody online is looking, and it's quite an embarrassing situation. Here he is, birthday boy Breckin Meyer.
Oh, I didn't gamble. I was just here for a friend's bachelor party. I guess he's the gambler. Excuse me, what's this, $110?
Those are your in-room movies.
No, I didn't watch any movies.
Okay, let's see. Afro Horse.
Afro whores?
All right, there we go, my amigos, and it's time for Name That Lyric.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is... No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
All right, amigos, name that lyric. And thank you for all your participation, for all your oomph, for all your energy. Thank you, folks. And today we're going to take a look at a classic Grateful Dead song. This is a little piece of Americana, as we call it, something that is purely American. And the song is called Truckin'. And to truck is ir en camión. But also if we say the expression, which is the chorus of the song, keep trucking. To just keep on trucking es seguir hacia adelante, seguir luchando, seguir sin pensar porque you got to keep on trucking. And that's a great song. Now here he's probably talking a little bit about trucking as well because, well, they were touring all the time. So he says, truckin', I got my chips cashed in. He canjeado mis fichas. I got my chips cashed in. Keep truckin'. If you guys didn't know that vocabulary, well, the chips cashed in, that you should listen to the Las Vegas episode of FYI. So let's say goodbye with Truckin' by the Grateful Dead. Woo! The truckin', I got my chips cashed in. Keep truckin'. Woo!